Would you make a wish if you knew it would cost you everything? 3 wishes. That's all it promised. But behind every gift, there's a price. Behind every blessing, a curse. Tonight, we explore the story of the monkey's paw and what happens when you dare to play with fate. It was a bitter, stormy night when the Whites first heard of it. The wind screamed against the windows of their small, weathered house at the edge of Labanam Villa. Inside, the fire crackled weakly, barely keeping the chill at bay. Mr. and Mrs. White sat with their son, Herbert, enjoying their modest evening. But that night wasn't meant to be ordinary. It was meant to change everything. Because that night, Sergeant Major Morris arrived. And in his pocket, he carried something that should have never been found. Morris sat by the fire, his face shadowed, his hands trembling slightly as he nursed his drink. He spoke of his travels in far-off lands, and then, almost reluctantly, of a talisman. A dried, shriveled paw of a monkey, bound in ritualistic markings. It grants 3 wishes, he said, his tone laced with warning. But the price is never worth it. The Whites laughed it off at first. But when Morris threw the paw into the flames, Mr. White snatched it back. The sergeant's eyes widened with fear. "If you keep it," he growled, "don't blame me for what follows." The paw was cold. Far too cold for something that had just been in the fire. Mr. White felt its claws curl, as if it were alive. That night, the storm raged louder. Mr. White stared at the paw on the table, its withered fingers frozen in an unnatural pose. "Make a wish," Herbert joked. "Why not? Wish for something harmless, like 200 pounds. Mr. White chuckled nervously and did just that. The paw twitched. It was subtle, but undeniable. The room felt colder. The fire dimmed, as if the house itself were holding its breath. They laughed it off, though their smiles didn't reach their eyes. But the next day, a man from Herbert's workplace arrived, his hat in his hands, his face pale. "There's been an accident. Herbert was dead, crushed by machinery. The company offered compensation, 200 pounds. Mrs. White's grief drove her mad. Her tears turned to rage. "Wish him back," she screamed. "Bring our boy back." Mr. White's hands trembled as he clutched the paw. He wished. Hours passed. Silence. But then a knock. 3 slow, heavy thuds on the door. Mrs. White ran to open it, but Mr. White grabbed her. "No," he hissed. He knew. Whatever stood outside wasn't their son. Not anymore. The knocking grew louder. More frantic. The door shook on its hinges. Mrs. White fought to free herself. "It's him. Let me see my boy." But Mr. White, in desperation, made his final wish. The knocking stopped. When Mrs. White flung the door open, there was nothing. Nothing but the howling wind. The paw lay on the floor, lifeless, spent. But as they wept, a new sound echoed outside. Soft footsteps, receding into the night. Someone, or something, had been there. And though the paw's magic was gone, its curse remained. Once you invite fate into your home, it never truly leaves. Would you dare to make a wish? Remember, every gift has its price. If you want more chilling stories like this, subscribe to Room 13A. And be careful what you wish for.